Đây là những bức ảnh chụp trẻ em Việt Nam được tráng rửa theo cách truyền thống. Điều đáng nói là chúng được tráng rửa từ nguồn nước được lấy từ những con sông gần nơi các em đang sinh sống. Những bức ảnh không hoàn thiện thể hiện sự tác động mạnh mẽ của nguồn nước bị ô nhiễm đến cuộc sống của người dân, đặc biệt là trẻ em xung quanh các con sông Việt Nam. Đây chính là thông điệp của No Filter, một chiến dịch do Quỹ Nhi đồng Liên Hiệp Quốc UNICEF và công ty kết nối sáng tạo Fbnc Sài Gòn thực hiện, kêu gọi cộng đồng chung tay cải thiện chất lượng nguồn nước và điều kiện vệ sinh tại hơn 100 quốc gia vì một thế hệ tương lai tốt đẹp hơn. Ý tưởng nhân văn và những hình ảnh mang đầy cảm xúc này đã giúp No Filter cùng Fbnc Sài Gòn đưa Việt Nam lên bản đồ sáng tạo thế giới khi được vinh danh tại hàng loạt các giải thưởng quốc tế, 2 giải sư tử đồng tại Cannes Lions, 1 giải Spy đồng tại Spice Asia, 1 giải đồng tại London International Awards, 2 giải vàng, 1 giải bạc và 1 giải đồng tại Eurobest, 1 giải đồng tại The One Cup và 1 giải Graphite Pencil tại D&AD. No Filter hiện cũng đang nắm trong tay kỷ lục là ý tưởng sáng tạo của Việt Nam giành được nhiều giải thưởng nhất tại các liên hoan quốc tế. Trong câu chuyện kinh doanh trên Fbnc ngày hôm nay, chúng tôi mời quý vị cùng đến với cuộc trao đổi với ông Alan Seruti, CEO kiêm Giám đốc Chiến lược Công ty Kết nối Sáng tạo Happiness Sài Gòn, một trong những công ty đã góp phần đưa Việt Nam lên bản đồ sáng tạo thế giới.
Good morning, Alan Seruti. Thank you very much for joining our program today. So this is the second time that you appear on our show. Last time was last year, right? And that time when you started to do the No Filter project, if I'm not wrong.
Yep.
And up to now, the project is awareness campaign that has won you a lot of recognition and a lot of prestigious awards as well. So what can you share with us about the No Filter project?
Well, look, it has indeed brought us with a lot of credibility and respect in the market. It's a project that is very special to us, has a special place in my heart and in the heart of the people at Happiness, but it's a very important project for UNICEF as well. Because through that power of creativity and that idea, UNICEF has now a seat at the table with governments and with industrial stakeholders to talk about the impact of pollution to the children of Vietnam. So only for that, it's a very important project. It has resulted in a lot of awareness and recognition, yes. For us as a company, it is indeed a beautiful example of what we believe is the power of creativity.
Impressive, and I think that you get asked this question a lot, but for Fbnc audience, I think that they are very curious as well about the idea behind it. How can you come up with the idea? Because it hits me. I mean, the pictures hits me, and I guess it hits many other people's hearts as well.
It always starts with a problem, and that problem is how can we raise awareness around the impact of pollution on children. That was the problem. And our task as an agency is to find a solution. And that solution, we believe, should be a creative one. So this is where we started to launch the thinking process in the agency and have therefore come up with a couple of ideas. And one of these ideas was the No Filter campaign that we immediately felt was a very strong idea.
Yeah, to me, it's really effective, the No Filter project, because, you know, thinking about our next generation, right? Who else wouldn't feel touching if we don't keep a clean water source for them? So speaking about creative and creative connectivity, because you are, I mean, you has won 2016 Campaign Agency of the Year, right? Which is what a milestone. But so far, how do you think about the new trends of the creativity ideas? Because, you know, there's so many things now, because people now kind of forget of like 30-second commercial TV ads. What do you say about that?
I think the world is changing, and nothing has changed in the way that brands or businesses still have problems to solve, and agencies still have solutions to provide. But today it's a much more complex world, and as such everything is different. What is making the world more complex, I think, is the connectivity. Yes. By definition, we are in a 3.0 world where we are all very much, kind of dominated by the phones and the areas of content that we can immerse ourselves in, and we are indeed very dependent on it. I think some may call it an addiction. I think it's just an evolution, but we are very dependent on that phone, and there is something on that phone that is asking us a lot of attention. So how can brands today really kind of be part of that attention? And this is a question that is to be answered in a daily basis, basically. And what we believe is essential is creativity. That's why we are called the Creative Connectivity Agency. It's about connecting with people, and we believe that creativity is essential to do so. But very importantly, it's also about technology. And since the beginning, happiness started around 12 years ago in Europe. We have always married strategy, creative, and technology. And we saw this as a holy trinity. And these three principles together are actually unlocking even stronger work that connects with people. So what we are seeing is that in Vietnam, creativity is becoming more and more of a buzzword, and that's really good. We see that there's an appetite for creativity, and what we now want to talk about as more is technology as well. And there are a lot of trends happening around the world.
Certainly. And in the recent events, you also have shown use some VR equipment to showcase your creativity products. Tell us about that.
Well, virtual reality is one of these trends. Virtual reality is, for those who might not know what it is, it's actually immersing yourself in a virtual world. So you can put on a headset, and this is, for instance, one example of this. This is a headset that you put on. You put your phone in here, or it's connected to your computer. And by putting this on your face, you are actually part of a virtual world, and you can move and you see in 3D what is happening in that world. That is one trend. In our industry, and what Vietnam is seeing more and more is trends like these, but I don't think they are being applied yet, and it will take a bit of time before they are. But we see more conversational technologies. We see that there are chatbots, for instance, on Facebook, where automatically a computer that is designed by an agency or a brand is responding to questions that consumers would have. We also see dynamic content, which is a very important trend as well, where today a brand can in fact look at advertising, adapting itself to the context in which the consumer is, so that the communication is even more effective and tailored to that person. It's personalized.
And of course, it's very new to Vietnam market and especially to the world as well. But as a creative connectivity agency, what do you plan to do with your production when you combine using the technology like VR equipment and your, other marketing tools?
Yeah. So look, we believe in that technology, and since day one we have, in fact, that's why we have a sister company called Bliss Interactive, and they have always been in Vietnam. We rely on them for what we call PR&D, which is prototype research and development. Now, what this means is that we would look at creativity as a starting point, and together with the technology that would be part of that creative solution, we are prototyping that service or that tool, basically. And then we see how that would work in the market. One of these, for instance, could be virtual reality. And for this, we have also actively invested in a more structural partnership with a specialist in Europe that is going to be part of our company and is going to help us lead the way as well in terms of virtual reality experiences for brands.
Great. And I know that the 123 Creative Innovation event is considered as your company's annual event. But what kind of surprises me is that the attendance is not only your customers or your partners, but also your a lot of marketeers that has come to the event as well. And they are somewhat your competitors. But what can you get from these kind of events?
So we don't allow for competitors of our agency, for instance, to attend the event. Okay. Just let me be clear on that. We have indeed clients who come to the event, and then we have what we call prospects. And these are advertisers or brands in the market that come to our event and that show interest for the story that we want to bring. We might not work together, but we might in the future. And this is also part of our ambition, of course, is since day one we wanted to lead the industry by leading the way. And we said in 2017 we want happiness to be worldwide regarded as one of the agencies that puts Vietnam on the creative map. So we've done this with UNICEF and the No Filter campaign. But we also need to look at other emerging trends and be continuously adaptive to change. And that change is getting faster and faster. You know, we are evolving faster and faster. So that's why we decided this year to talk about innovation. Because we believe that innovation is also a very key driver of business growth, business success, and should help our clients to also have better results.
Okay, so for the latest event, can you let them experience many of your new prototype products,
Yes.
if you will? What did your response? What did they say about
People
it?
were surprised. I think we saw a lot of very intriguing reactions, and we heard a lot about questions around how can we apply this to our thinking. We are a brand that cares, for instance, Nivea. How can we use virtual reality that is by definition a bit more distant than the human interaction and a bit more distant than care? How can we use virtual reality to also get that message across, for instance? So this is arising with interesting questions that we are starting to think about. But in general, I think the reactions were very engaging because of the newness of it. People had not experienced it before. And as such, I think we can be proud as an agency to also bring that little kind of inspiration level to our clients and partners in Vietnam.
Yeah, you must be. We will talk more about the opportunities and challenges for Happiness Saigon, looking ahead and moving forward in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.